Hi, everyone, and welcome to tonight's webinar, Big Things at BodySite.com. I'm here with Katrina Dahl, our content guru. This is John Cummings. I'm the CEO and founder of BodySite.com. And we're so excited tonight because we're going to bring to you a summary of a lot of the new features that we have, some of which are really game-changing for your account, and some of which are in place already, but you might not know about them. And I want to start tonight, like we do with every one of our webinars, with a testimonial from one of our clients that just came in the last 2 days. We're so excited about it because we work so hard to make things work for you as the provider. We take all of your suggestions seriously, and when we get feedback like this, it makes us happy to work harder to bring a better solution to you. This is from Beth Schroeder, and she has nothing but great things to say about BodySite. She said, BodySite is exactly what the medical community needs, and I love what all of you at BodySite are doing for me and for my patients. BodySite is intuitive with its development and is so user-friendly. It really helps me to be successful with my business. Keep up the good work, and thanks for the support. So just a quick chance for Katrina to say hello to you all.
Hi, everyone.
So some of the things that we're going to cover are the new revenue opportunities for selling your wellness plans in our marketplace, adding staff accounts, Everyday Wellness, which is a new program, other premium plans available for you. And one of the most exciting things for us is the Everyday RX, which I think brought a lot of you here tonight. We've got over 100 people registered for this webinar just going into the evening. So we think that this is a very popular function, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment. The first thing I'd like to cover is the staff accounts function. I'm going to log into one of our accounts to give you a view of that in case you haven't already seen this. And I'm going to let Katrina describe to you some of the basics of what the staff account function is for and how you use it as I log into the account.
Okay, so most of our providers have asked at one time or another if there's a function where they can give a staff person or team member or maybe an assistant a different login credential so that they can log in using their own set of username and password. And now with the new staff account function, you're now able to do that to protect your own login credentials in case you don't want to share that with your assistant.
And at first, for several years, we had the ability for everybody who had an account to log in, anybody in their office, in the same session with the same credentials simultaneously, which is convenient, but it creates a number of problems for a lot of offices. What if somebody leaves your employee and you need to take away their credentials? Now you would need to change your own login credentials, or maybe you don't want everybody logging into the same account because you don't feel like there's enough accountability on a staff-by-staff basis. So the new staff account function is really simple. It gives you the ability to create as many staff accounts as you like so that you can give anybody who joins your team a separate login credential, and then if somebody leaves, you can change that and, more importantly, know that they're not logging into your account. So there are two places that you can access this. One is the Add Team Member button on your Patients page. We put it here as a shortcut because we know most of you spend a lot of your time enrolling new patients or managing them. So you can click on the Add New Team Member button here, or also in your account settings. You can also find a button under the Team tab to do the same function. And when you go there, you'll see here's everybody on your team, and the Add a New Team Member button will do the same thing as the button on your patient's account. It's super simple. Click on that button, add a first name, last name, and email like you would if you were enrolling a patient, and then click on Send Invitation to Team Member, and that person will be invited to join your team. One of the questions that we got a lot during tutorials with new clients was, hey, what if I have a coach who wants to interact directly with the patient and the message is just coming from ABC Wellness? How do they know who it's from? Well, now if you have a staff account, every individual staff member can have individual conversations with the patient. And in your account as the main provider, you can see all of those conversations and then also get involved in those by adding your own messages to your conversation. And from the patient view, the patient gets to see all of the conversations with different people. So that's your staff accounts function. You have your own account and one other account included in your subscription. If you want to add other team members, it's $25 per staff member per month, and you can have as many of those as you like and as is convenient for your use. The next thing I want to talk about is something that is one of the most exciting things that we've done other than our native app, and that's the Everyday RX. Everyday RX is something that we launched because we have a number of needs that we were trying to meet for you, the provider, in creating an environment where you can easily dole out information to your patients. So we believe, and you've all validated that hundreds of times, that 80% of your patients need to follow advice that is conducive to a template. So if you're a weight loss practice or you have a weight loss program, if you are a dietitian or a practice driven by preventive nutrition, chances are you don't need to rewrite a brand new book for every single patient that comes through the door. If somebody is supposed to be or would benefit from an autoimmune paleo protocol or a ketogenic diet, chances are you don't need to write a new one for every single patient. So we built the programs library with that in mind, and that's why you've got all these templates that you can copy, customize, and then deploy as if you had a really comprehensive digital bookshelf. And I think most of you are already familiar with how that works. But what many of you have requested from us over and over again is a way to customize the messaging to a patient when it's appropriate and necessary. So maybe you do have 50 people on the same weight loss plan, but you want to share with somebody some interesting information that's just for them, or you want to give them a daily reminder about the supplements that they're taking. Or maybe you just want to hand them something, like virtually give somebody a video or a picture or a note of encouragement that's just for them and literally just from you, without building a new template or opening up a template that 50 other people are on and figuring out a way to change that without changing everybody else's advice. Well, Everyday RX is that solution. So instead of having to go to your plans library and build something that you're going to then give to a patient, you can now just go right to your patients, type in the name of your patient as you would normally do to search for somebody, and when you bring up that patient record, you're going to find there's a new tab called Everyday RX. It's so simple. You click on Everyday RX, and now you can expand the patient's record so you can see it full screen. And instead of just assigning a full plan, which is still advisable in most of your situations, you can now use the same drag and drop mentality or functionality that we have to create an Everyday RX, which sits atop the patient's program page as the advice that they get until you change it. So I've already created something for this patient, but I want to show you how this works. So if you're on this person's page, you would simply click on Add Content, and you'll notice this familiar overlay of your content libraries. You can literally take anything that you would normally drag onto a day or bonus tab and do the same thing here on Everyday RX with the same structure and the same functionality. Although I have to say, we've improved the look and feel and functionality of this quite a bit. So as you drag documents into the documents section, they just drop effortlessly in place. You can reorder them if you need to. Now, if you want to add photos, meals, exercises, videos, or even notes from your notes library, you simply click on Add Content. And as normal, you're going to just click on the button, click on the function that you want, or the folder, I should say, and then just pick anything that you want to drag and drop and take that right out of that spot and drop it into place. And then save changes. And you can do all the same things with this that you normally do with your daily content and your tab content. And once you save your changes, you can preview like you would for a day or a tab. So this one I made for a patient account, and I wanted to show that you can add video, you can add text, and you can customize that for just this person without having to worry about it being a template. So I addressed this to John, I signed it Sarah, and so this is what's going to appear on John's account. Now, you can leave this in design mode until you're ready to implement it for that patient. As soon as you click on active, it's going to show up on that patient's page. So if they log in a minute from now, they're going to see that, and there's a little toggle here with a screen tip for you in case you forget that. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to log into the account for this patient and show you how that looks on their page. And what's really neat is that in the context of creating this new function, we also relayed out the program page a little bit for the patient so that they can see their everyday content, their daily program from their template, and if they're on any surveys, that'll be showing up here as well. So now we've got a profile photo, a much more welcoming announcement of that person, and also an announcement to them on what plans they're on and which day of those plans. But the first thing that will show up if they have an Everyday RX from you is that Everyday RX tab. If they don't have one because you didn't create it, then it'll just be their regular daily plan content. But this is a great place to just, like I said, hand somebody a video, a quick note from you that's personalized, And if you choose to use it for maybe a week's worth of just kind of everyday generic stuff, you can do that and format this any way you like. But if you have any questions, what I want to encourage you to do, there should be a questions box on your screen. And if you type a question into that box, they'll come to us by email as we're going through the webinar, and we can answer those questions for you as we go if we haven't already answered your question. And I notice here we've got one question that already came in, and I'm going to log out of this account and hand this one to Katrina. The question is from Laura, and she says, what kinds of content can you include in your Everyday RX?
Yeah, so thanks, Laura, for your question. You can include any content, so any videos, recipes, photo, notes, anything like that you can include in that Everyday RX. So if you want to put a picture of the supplement you want your patient on and you want to just write a little text in there, you can include any of that information inside of the Everyday RX for any patient.
Okay, and that's a good question and a good answer. So what you can do is, obviously, if you have this expanded, you'll have this full screen, and you'll have room to see both your library overlay and the areas where you drop. And again, just to be repetitive to anybody who's new about this, this works the same way as the daily content and the tab content. There's a documents area, and there's an everything else area. And you basically just pick the library from which you want to grab something, click on the folder that you want to drag it from, and let's say you wanted to add the Greens First Deacidify Kit. You can just drag that out and drop it right into place, and it becomes part of your Everyday RX. Here's a follow-up question, Katrina. Somebody else just asked, what if I want to upload my own recipes, exercises, videos, etc.?
Of course. So right in your libraries tab at the top of the screen, you see here, you can go into any of those libraries and add your own videos, maybe that you've recorded on YouTube or Vimeo, and upload them there using the link. And you can also go into your photo albums, add your own photos, create new albums, maybe specific to a plan. And you can also create your own recipes. Basically, if you make an Everyday RX inside of a patient record, that's only for that patient. So the trick to be able to save your Everyday RX and use them for multiple different patients is by creating that template inside of the notes library. You can go into the notes, you can add whatever text you want, you can add your images, and save it as whatever you would like. So for example, here we have my patient's Everyday RX. And you can create that template and then just drag and drop it right into any patient record. So this way you are basically creating a template Everyday RX that is usable for multiple patients.
Okay, so by using the notes library, you've got a template here that you won't have to reinvent the wheel. If you say this to 5 different people and you don't need a template for it, you just use it as part of your Everyday RX. So let's go back to John Cummings, and we'll go to his Everyday RX, and we'll click Add Content. We'll go to Notes. We'll locate the Everyday RX. If you're not sure if that's the right one, you can always preview it from this interface. That's a normal function. And then what you can do is you can take that and just drag that into the section where you bring everything other than documents. And I'm going to recommend that you put that on top, for example, and that'll become part of the Everyday RX. And I can preview that and see that it's sitting there. So now when John logs in again, which I can do while we're still talking about this, I'll log back out and log in as John. And thanks to the speed of the site, now I can do that quickly for you so you're not hanging around too long waiting for this. And when I log back in as John, now my Everyday RX is going to include the content that you saw before, but also that supplement recommendation. And of course, you can always add documents to your patient's record in the documents folder, but now it might be more convenient for you to put it right inside of a download section in the Everyday RX, which makes it super convenient as well. BodySite is really not, at the moment, built to be a platform on which you would create a customized protocol for every single patient. We think if you're doing that, you're probably charging, hopefully, hundreds and hundreds of dollars per hour to give that level of customization. For the rest of us that are trying to make their practices more efficient, we think that template-based protocols for people that fit the same characteristics is a much more efficient way to go. But Everyday RX should bridge the gap for you so that you can literally speak to each patient in a different voice as much as you want by using this new function. So we're really excited about it. And we're going to hopefully get a ton of questions from you all as you start to use this. And I think your patients are going to love it. And now I want to jump into the wellness plans marketplace. Over the span of about a year and a half, we came up with what we think is a pretty elegant solution that extends the basic functionality that you already know and love about BodySite, but adds to it a commercial component that I think you're going to find very useful. And it's really just been launched in the last week or two very quietly, and now we're ready to show it to you and hopefully encourage you to start using it as part of your everyday practice. Katrina, we have, just in the last week, how many people have already integrated an account with Stripe to start selling their programs on BodySite?
Well, there's been over 70 plans that have been marked as sellable, either retail or wholesale, using the new Stripe integration, which is awesome.
Okay, great. So here's how this works. You're already familiar, if you're a veteran of BodySite, or if you're using us for more than a month or two, with the plans page. So up until a couple weeks ago, what you would have seen on this page is my plans, template plans, and premium plans. And I won't get into the details of how we changed it too much, but premium plans used to include any of the plans that you might be entitled to because you were part of some group, practice organization, etc. And we realized that premium was really a misnomer for that because you weren't paying anything extra for those, at least not, for the use of the plan. They were included with your membership with some society or group. We've changed that to exclusive plans. So if you're a member of Optimal Wellness Academy or Chirothin or some of these organizations, you'll now find that your plans that used to be labeled premium are now listed as exclusive plans. And some of those are customizable templates and some are just usable the way they were created by their author. But what now is premium is any plan that has been listed as being for sale by a provider who created that plan. And we see now we've got already 7 new entries just in the last few days that have been added by doctors who created programs that are meant to be used by other providers for a small fee each time that you use the program. So we're going to talk about how that works in a second, but I want to give you more of an overview. So you can, in your plans library, make plans available as premium by simply opening up any plan that's in your library. Let's look at maybe the at-home fitness plan. And when you click on the Edit Plan button, you're going to find a couple of new features in here that shouldn't interfere at all with your normal use of your plan settings, but I think are kind of cool. So in the Autoimmune Paleo protocol, if I click on Edit Plan, you'll see that I've got the same settings. Let me click on that one more time. And in the Settings tab, we have this plan listed as available, but also for sale to the public for $199. And you can click on Preview Retail Sales Page and see that we've created for you an automatic landing page generator. So whatever your plan profile photo is, whatever your title is, whatever your practice name is, your short description, and your long description, which can include photos and video if you like, all of that is immediately compiled for you along with the price that you're charging into a sales page. So I'll review that again real quickly. If you're in your plan settings, you can of course maintain whatever title of the plan you want, but you can now list the plan for sale at a price to the public. You can change your short description, which should be 512 characters maximum. And then you can also change your long description for as much content as you like, and then set a price. And then what you'll get as a result is the retail sales page. Okay? Now I'm going to just refresh that page so I don't have any false errors when I come to the wholesale price. But what you can do with this is you can also list this for sale to other providers. And the way that works is you'll click on this wholesale price section here and click on for sale to providers. And I recommend that you set a much more reasonable price for that setting. And in that context, you can also preview the wholesale page, which has a little bit of a different set of language. But again, it's the short description, long description, and the price of the plan. So the way that the wholesale works is that if you are the doctor who creates the plan, you get to pick the price that doctors pay when they want their patients to use your plan. So if I'm just a patient, if I'm a provider enrolling a new patient, and I'm normally accustomed to just seeing in the Wellness Plan Selector all of the plans that are in your library already, you'll notice that there's now this new tab that we kind of silently slipped in here for you called Premium Plans. So these are all the plans that other providers have created that are now available to me to add to this patient that I'm now enrolling. So let's say I don't have a meal replacement plan that takes advantage of keto principles, or there's a great plan in here that's called the Stress Relief Toolkit by Dr. Bourbon. If I don't have any interest in building one of these plans, and I want to give something like this to my patients, like this No More Meds for Kids Healthy Solutions Plans by Dr. Corinne Weaver, I can just say, okay, I'm willing to pay the $37 and enroll my patient in this plan. And then what's going to happen next is I'm going to pay for that with my credit card as the provider. And you'll see all the information about the plan here. And then I can just enter my credit card as the provider, pay the wholesale price, like if you were going to buy a booklet or a book for your patient. And then you'll charge your patient using your own payment system in your office whatever price you want. Maybe you're going to charge your patient $137 or $199 because it goes along with some other part of your practice and care. But you can buy the plan wholesale from the doctor, and that doctor is going to make a little bit of a profit in exchange for having created this plan and making it available to you and to 1,000 other providers. But there is a really nice elimination diet, a reintroduction phase diet, a maintenance diet. I believe we have a FODMAPs diet coming in from one of our doctors, as well as a vegan, is it a vegan FODMAPs or a vegan?
Yeah, vegetarian keto.
Vegetarian ketogenic diet. So that's going to be very popular. And we're trying to recommend to providers that they list these as wholesale between $25 and $49 in most cases, unless they're really comprehensive, because we know that you as the buying provider are going to want to mark this up and resell it to your patient. And this shouldn't be a hostage negotiation. This should just be a small fee for you to compensate the doctor who created this for you, essentially, but where you can profit from it, and the doctor who made it can also profit from it. So that's the marketplace, and we're super excited about that. The other thing that might be of interest to you, depending on your practice type, is the retail sale. And so even if you don't want to sell it to any other providers, but you just want to be able to sell it over the internet because you think you can make an additional revenue stream selling your BodySite plans even while you're sleeping and not actually in the office, this is a great way to do that. And I think that depending on the level of complexity, the length, the comprehensive detail in your plan, you're probably going to be looking at a price of no more than $99 or $199 for your average 30 or 60-day program. If you disagree with me, price them as you see fit, but look around on the internet at what you're competing with. There are people that have ebooks out there and things about, maybe a paleo diet for $47, whatever else. Just don't set your price so high to create a false negative. Experiment with smaller prices first, but we make it really easy for you to figure out what's going to work, because in just one click, you can copy the link of your landing page for every wellness plan that you have. So this is like a brilliant little piece of programming that our team put together. We automatically generate a URL that includes your subdomain, your practice name, and then a keyword driven hyphenated URL that is driven by the title of your plan. And you can also edit that if you want to right here in this field. But assuming that you leave it as the title that was entered when you first created the plan, you can just click on copy to clipboard, and then you can paste that title anywhere you like, whether it's Facebook, Google+, your blog, your email campaigns, and right off the bat, you've got a public-facing, ready-to-go plan page, which has a payment option, and all the patient needs to do, or the customer, is enter their email address, their credit card number, and they're off to the races. And what's awesome about this, and this is something that we've not had, I think, ever, is not only the commerce part of the transaction, but once that transaction is completed and approved, the patient gets an activation email and they can enroll in their account and start day one immediately. You can literally be on vacation, asleep, whatever, and now you're making money selling the expertise you already put time and materials into without having to worry about any of the transaction. We do all of that for you.
Yeah, so to reiterate, you won't have to manually add these patients into your account. By them buying the plan externally, they're automatically enrolled inside of your provider account, and you don't have to do anything. You can just be vacationing. And some people have asked, some clients have asked, how do I market this? What do I do? Where do I paste this link? And so, like John was saying, you'll have this public-facing URL, and you'll also have a master public-facing URL that has a list of all of your plans that you have marked as sellable. And some of our clients have created special Facebook groups or Instagram accounts for their BodySite plans that they post their URL at. Some have added a specific tab or button into their website, integrated into their website, so that users outside of their scope can go right to that link and buy the plan anywhere that it's available.
That's a great point. And I think it's, we don't want to overcomplicate this, but it should all be pretty simple for you to use. What was requested of us was, well, how do I get a landing page to sell this particular plan? Well, in the case of this plan, you can see that you've got your public-facing URL, and I just showed you how I can paste that, and it's live as a URL just for that plan. You can also paste just this plan link on Facebook in one click, and it will actually generate the cool thing that Facebook does with the picture and the title and everything else, and then you can click on that and go right to the landing page. And we do the same thing with Twitter and also Google+. So if you click on those links, you'll see that it'll launch a pre-filled Twitter in the right number of characters, and then also a Google+ will generate, if you're logged in, I'm not going to log in now, it'll same as Facebook. But if you go to your plans page, once you've got at least one plan for sale, we've satisfied another request that people had, which was, what if I have like 2 or 3 or 20 of my plans listed for sale, and I don't want to send my clients to just one link, but I want them to see all that I have to offer? Well, we've solved that too. So you've got your own public-facing directory of plans, and this comes up, and we've already pre-formatted this for you. So you've got your profile photo for the plan, whatever your title is. If you've got a short description, it'll appear here, and then there's a view plan button, and once they click on that, they'll be able to buy the plan at whatever price you have set. So the entire transaction is handled for you. Just put them for sale, make sure the landing page looks nice, use the landing page URL for the plan. You've got a landing page URL for your list of plans, and then the money just happens automatically. We take a handling fee of 25% for any plan that you sell through the system, and that all happens automatically through Stripe. So when you first go to list your plan for sale for the first time, you're going to either want to go to your account settings and click on the platform settings and do a Stripe account configuration. Takes literally 30 seconds. A debit card or a bank account number and a routing number is all you'll need. I think maybe your birthday or something like that. And you'll be off to the races. And if you forget that and you go to your plans and you're like, I'm going to start setting my plans up for sale now, like let's say you want to put Dr. Jane's Amazing Vegan Detox up for sale, not a real title, right? Is that a sample?
Yeah, that's a test.
It's a good title though. The first time you click on for sale and add a price to it, if you don't already have a Stripe account set up with us, it's going to generate a little message that says, please go take 30 seconds to set up your Stripe account. So you can't screw this up. You can't forget what to do. It's all done for you. It's all self-explanatory. And you can always call our office or email us and ask for Katrina, Kendra, Caitlin. Any one of our team members will help you to get through that process.
So we just want to go over the newest titles that you have in your template libraries. There's the 21 Days of Mindfulness, which was just launched like last week. It's by Jennifer Grace, and it's a 21-day mindfulness program with videos from Jennifer Grace teaching your patients how to be mindful in the here and now. Our newest diet protocol is the Autoimmune Paleo protocol, an anti-inflammatory diet. And the diet is beautifully designed with beautiful graphics, all-inclusive shopping list, and everything like that, ready to go, turnkey, as well as the Gluten Free Mediterranean Diet. That's been around for a couple months now, but in case you missed it, that's one of our newest plans as well. And our brand new plan that was just recently launched is the Evergreen Wellness Plan. And we've gotten a couple questions about that from our clients. Okay, so what do we do with this? What is this all about? The Evergreen Wellness Plan is a 730-day plan, and you are supposed to use it however you see fit in your office. And whenever you enroll a patient, set a start date of January 1st. And throughout the year, they will receive fun, upbeat, general wellness tips customized to every season. So as you see, day 1 is Happy New Year, because when January 1 hits, this is the email that they will get. But it's meant to serve whatever purpose in your practice you need it to. So if you have something, a video you want to do about eating healthy in the holidays, go to the day that corresponds to kind of Thanksgiving time and add that video in there. Or if you have some programs you want to highlight throughout the plan, add those plans in there. Add little videos about whatever plans you have for sale and use it as a marketing tool in your office. Or just to engage patients that maybe don't need to follow a specific protocol, but you still want to interact with them throughout the year. Do you have anything else to add, John?
Well, somebody just asked a question. They said, is it every single day? And also, how do I know where to enroll somebody based upon what time of the year it is? So I think I answered this question just last week, like 2 or 3 times. And I think that I thought it would be more intuitive, but I kind of get where they're coming from about the day of the year to enroll somebody, because it's sort of until you're acclimated to the fact that we try to build this seasonally, it may not be that intuitive. So my answer, and you can tell me if this is the right way to go about it, is we made it span for 2 full years in terms of the number of days of the plan length, so that no matter where your patient falls in terms of what the date is right now, as long as you pick January 1st as the enrollment date, they'll always be on the right day of the year.
Correct.
With the plan, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so if you enroll your patient tomorrow, or, maybe on November 24th, it doesn't matter what day you're enrolling, choose the start day of January 1st so that the emails correspond with the season. And the reason you'll see some blank days throughout it is we don't want your patients to become bombarded with having an email every single day. So the content is delivered every 2 days to kind of have that constant engagement with them, but not overwhelming them and saying, this is spam, this is, whatever. It's just very lighthearted and general wellness tips throughout the year. And that's why it's spread out.
So if you're wondering, how do I use BodySite for the new patient who I really haven't assigned a protocol to yet, put them on the Evergreen Wellness Plan immediately and start engaging them with content from day 1.
Yeah, and just fun things, healthy tips for Halloween, how to eat healthy for Thanksgiving during the holidays, how to love yourself during Valentine's Day, everything like that. Just fun things to just throw out your patients and interact with them.
The last thing I want to talk about before we talk about what's coming in the future is the all-new, completely native iPhone app. And we want to just cover some of it for you who may not have tried it yet, or for some of you who haven't really dug into it, just to show you the simplicity of it for you as the provider and how much functionality is in there for the patient. And just as a reminder, if you have any questions, there's a questions box on your screen. They'll be submitted to us by email. We haven't read all of them that were coming in. If we don't get to them before the end of the webinar, we will respond to you by email as soon as we can within the next few minutes. So without further delay, we're on a screen of an iPhone, and we're going to tap on the BodySite icon to load the app. And so we're already logged into the account. I think it's the same John Cummings sample account that we had before, and that account is on the Gluten Free Mediterranean meal plan. So we're on day 2, and we have a number of really cool features here. First of all, your daily program content is available to you with all your meals, the ability to track and see all the nutritional information about each meal. The graphics are great. The buttons are awesome, and you can just track meals in one click, add them to a meal, put in the servings that you want to use. Maybe you had 1 serving of that meal, and now you'll see a message that says it's been added to your food tracker. You also have bonus content that goes along with your program. It's included here on the app under the star, so you can quickly load a shopping list and get your documents and load those right on your app screen. So you're in the store, you pull this up, and you see what you need to buy. Convenient as you want it to be. So if you go back to your bonus content, you've got other things like other meals, or on your daily content, you can see that this person is probably on more than one plan. They've got a little folder there, and you can see the other plan by just tapping on the little stack of papers. And now you can watch the mindfulness video by Jennifer Grace for today about journaling. So it's all there on their phone, right where they need it, and it's really cool. Now, a lot of you are sending your patients, or have been in the past, to MyFitnessPal for food tracking. You don't need to do that anymore. The app takes care of all of that for you. As you saw with the one-click food adjustment for what was on the daily plan, you can also go to the food journal and you'll have a complete representation of what you've eaten so far with quick tips and quick tools. You can make a meal out of any set of things that you've already tracked. You can see your calorie goal, your total eaten, your total expended, and also create new meals to track later, create favorites, and also delete some or all of those as you go. So it's a really simple food intake and tracker that I think you'll find is just as convenient as anything that's out there. And one of the things we're going to talk about at the end is we're overhauling this even further. And I think you'll find that once the overhaul is done, there won't be a food tracker on the market as good as BodySite's food tracker. And we're very happy to say that. If you go back on the tracking, back to the menu, you can also track water, exercise, weight, other bodily metrics, and also any activities that you include in your provider account as custom activities can be tracked by each patient as well. And so specific activities, weight, water, all of those things you can enter quite simply on your screen. And so they don't need to go anywhere else. Everything you want them to keep track of is available here in the app. Now, they also have a journal. Patients can put in whatever they want to say about what they're thinking today, what they're going through. And once they put in any information in the journal, they can save that as an ongoing journal, spelling errors or not. And then they can also mark those entries as public or private. And if they're shared with you as the provider. There's also one of the coolest things I think that makes this a lot easier to use than in the past is the messages center. So patients can now send messages directly to you inside of the app, and you'll get a push notification right on the screen of whatever cell phone you have attached to your account. And what's nice about that is as we integrate staff accounts, you'll have the ability for each provider or staff member in your office to communicate separately with the patient and each get push notifications about those messages. So the patient is always just a click away and you're always available to them. So that's the basics of the patient app. I don't want to belabor this. Please get in there and try it. There's a lot of cool stuff. They can also photo journal and add their pictures. At the moment, they can't share those, but we're adding that in the short term. But just like on the web application, as many albums as they want to include, and they can upload photos right from their phone, from their libraries and stuff like that, or take it with the camera. I'm just going to log out real quick and go to the account on this phone. And so if you've got a provider account, I want to encourage you to log into your account on your iPhone. So you can see here when you first log into the app as a provider, the dashboard that we're expanding on, but you have a list of all your patients by percentage and number that are activated, not activated, or deactivated. And although this is only a sample list here, you'll see all the activities that your patients have engaged in recently. So whatever they did, you'll have a running list of it. You can see any new messages in the Messages tab, and there'll be a number of messages there until you read them. And all your patients' message conversations will be listed here, which you can tap on to open and then continue the conversation with them by just clicking on that. Now, the most convenient thing I think about the app right now is that the plus sign, which is a food tracking thing on the patient side, is a patient enrollment screen. So you don't have to have your computer nearby. If you're enrolling somebody because you're talking to them on the phone or you're sitting on the train on the way home or in the back of a car, you can literally just put them in here and put their information in, pick a plan from the list, the submit button, and they'll be enrolled just like you would do if you were on the web. So you have the patient enrollment, a list of all your patients activated, not activated, etc., or even by plan if you like. You also have a list of all the plans in your library, so you can see the status of those, and your message center. Now, if you want, you can also get a private labeled version of the app, so that has your brand, so you're white labeled from top to bottom. And if you're interested in that, please email content@bodysite.com or info@bodysite.com, and we'll get you the information you need to get that started. So that's the presentation for today. Any other questions, don't hesitate to either enter them in the box now or just email info@bodysite.com. Either way, our staff is here all night. We're going to answer your questions if we haven't already covered them for you. So coming in December, huge upgrades to our food tracker. Again, you won't need to send anybody to MyFitnessPal or any other app ever again. In January, we're revamping the entire meals library so that you can actually customize meals and meal plans by excluding, in just a few clicks, things that people are allergic to, things that people prefer, calorie points, macros, shopping lists, all coming as you've been requesting for a long time. So that's very exciting. And then in the coming months, you're going to see some CRM functionality, mass messaging, and some really cool reporting and interactive tracking and sort of engaging the patient to do more or less of something if they're not logging it or if they're logging it improperly. So please send us your suggestions. Our programming roadmap is already full, but you'll be added to it, and you'll help us shape the future of BodySite. We're very excited to have you as a customer. We hope to have you for a long time. And don't forget that at the end of the year, we always encourage you to take advantage of our loyalty discount and pay for the year before the end of the tax season so that you get the deduction on this year's taxes rather than next year. So with all that being said, Katrina, any last words?
No, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here all night, and we'd be happy to answer any of them for you.
Now, if you're on the call today and you don't have an account with us, I know there was a lot of registrations that we didn't see that were familiar to us. We have obviously a lot of people that we were in contact with who are not already our customers. Please call us, and we'll give you the best price that we have available for the season. We have a lot of specials and a lot of deals for incentives for the app, for the type of account that you need. Our number is 561-247-3839, or you can always email info@bodysite.com. We'll let you go. Enjoy your dinner, enjoy your night, and we look forward to seeing you on our webinar next month before Christmas with our updates at that time.